This would be a pleasant surprise for the Chicago Bears if it's actually true. We'll explain here on today's episode of Chicago Bears. Now, my name is Harrison Graham. We got a subscriber battle going for the month of February. I am challenging the Packers report. We're at 88 new subscribers this month. They're at 61. Come on, we can't be losing to the Packers. In fact, I'm rocking the FGB shirt right now. Come on, let's take down those frauds. Hit that subscribe button and let's go. I'm Harrison Graham. Welcome in. Pro Football Focus has released their top 250 free agents, and for their top 51, they've put out contract projections. And I'm pretty surprised at the projection they've got for Trey Hendrickson. 1 year, $21 million with just $17 million guaranteed. And I understand he's over 30. He finished last year with an injury, but you tend to overpay in free agency. $17 million guaranteed for Trey Hendrickson. That feels like a pretty damn team-friendly deal if someone gets him at that price. I'd love it for the Bears. Here's what PFF said in their little write-up, saying that Hendrickson battled injuries throughout 2025, but still ranked 6th among all edge defenders in PFF pass rush grade at 90. He has now posted 5 consecutive PFF pass rush grades above 85, generated 23 pressures on 177 pass rush snaps this year. Obviously, this past season didn't go the way he wanted it to. Really starting back in the offseason, doesn't get that long-term security. Did get a little pay raise for last year from the Bengals, but had been looking for that long-term guaranteed money. And look, let's face it, with him finishing last year injured, he's probably not going to get that long-term guaranteed money. Now, I think he could get a 2 or 3 year deal with 1.5, 2 years guaranteed, whereas PFF is mocking a 1-year deal, less than $20 million guaranteed. I mean, in 2023 and 24, he had 35 sacks combined. I mean, that's still, to me, when he's healthy, he's a top 10 pass rusher in this league. Not great against the run, but if you need someone to go get the quarterback, there's not many people on planet Earth that can do it better than Trey Hendrickson. I think this would be a steal, and honestly, it would be kind of perfect for the Bears. Like, hey, 1 year, 2 year deal. Probably go draft somebody to develop as well, and you go Montez Sweat on one side, Trey Hendrickson on the other side. Booker's your third guy, potentially with a day 1 or day 2 pick as well. I mean, you're feeling pretty damn good about that edge group if you pull all that off, because Hendrickson with Sweat, that's pretty good. Booker is a 3. I think the way he developed this year was pretty awesome. Now you got a full healthy offseason with him, and then if you can draft somebody as well, like, to me, that's a pretty good path. And maybe you opt to draft a young defensive tackle instead of an edge rusher. Then you sign, a cheap 4th guy in free agency, like maybe you sign Dom Robb or back, or Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, or maybe you draft an edge later in the draft to develop and be your 4th guy. But maybe Shamar Turner's that, who knows? But if you could get Hendrickson on a 1 or 2 year deal and not break the bank in guaranteed money, to me, that's a pretty nice scenario for the Bears. Understanding, we don't want to give him a 5-year deal, but for 1 to 2 years, come in here, get after the quarterback. I would absolutely be all in on that scenario for Chicago. Would you guys sign Hendrickson to this deal? $21 million, 17 guaranteed. Hell, if you told me it was fully guaranteed, I think I would be fine with that. Type Y for yes, type H for hell yes. Because even though he finished last year injured, I kind of thought, okay, 2 for 50, 35 to 40 guaranteed, which I still think would be reasonable. And I still kind of wonder if this is underselling what his market's going to be from PFF. But who knows? Maybe not. Maybe they're on the button with this one. And if they are, I'd be all over it if I was the Chicago Bears. Now, I mentioned PFF did their contract projections for their top 51 free agents. So I'll take a look at some other edges, because obviously there's going to be a lot of competition, you would think, for Trey Hendrickson. Who else is out there? What did they mock Khalil Mack's contract up as? We'll take a look at all of that. But I got to tell you guys about our sponsor first. Guys, there's 1 game left. Clock is ticking to get going with PrizePicks for this football season. The big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than with PrizePicks, where it always feels good to be right. And since the big game is just around the corner, that means it's also your last chance to get into the football action before next season. To close the season out right with PrizePicks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. On PrizePicks, how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose FlexPlay, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. And if you want the biggest payouts, go for the power play. No matter your play, PrizePicks is a great way to put your takes to the test. And listen, 2 to 6 player lineups. You're already halfway home to a win in a 2-player lineup. They got a big game max discount. Drake May, half a passing yard. You take the more on that. Pair that with something else. If you hit, boom, you cash in. Check it out. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It is good to be right. Okay, some notable PFF contract projections for some edge rushers. Take a close look at 3 guys and then kind of rapid fire a few others. Odafe Oweh, who was with the Ravens, got traded to the Chargers mid-season, had 7.5 sacks this year. I think he has 2 or 3 7-sack seasons. 4 years, $77 million, only $40 guaranteed, so it's basically a 2+2. That's a lot though. Now, I prefer him over like Adayo Odengbo, who you signed last year. So it's not a ridiculous contract, but it's not cheap either for a guy who's, probably never going to be a number 1 on a defensive line. Okay, Jaelan Phillips, who played really well after the trade deadline last year, only had 5 sacks, but had a ton of pressures. I was caught off guard by this one. 1 year, $15 million, 12.5 guaranteed. To me, he strikes me as a guy who someone massively overpays. Now, maybe the injuries are a bigger deal than I think. I mean, he has missed notable time with injury, but entering free agency, coming off a good year, young edge rusher who, if healthy, is ascending. 73 pressures this past season. I mean, that was one of the best, or one of the most in the NFL. I think it was like top 10 in the NFL this year. To me, that's a guy that typically cashes in on a multi-year deal, but maybe he does have to sign a prove-it deal. I'll say this, if it's 1 year, $15 million, wouldn't the Eagles just bring him back? I mean, that feels like a Howie Roseman special. Just 1 year, $15 million, add a couple void years, and his cap hits like $6 million. I mean, that seems right up Philly's alley, but we'll see. If that's the price tag, I'd be interested, but if it's, 3-year deal, $20 million per year, I'd probably pass given his injury history. And then Khalil Mack, our old pal, who's year to year at this point. There's some rumblings he could retire, but there were those last year. He came back, played well for the Chargers. Last year he played for a fully guaranteed 1 year, $18 million. PFF is saying something similar. 1 year, $14 million, fully guaranteed, which I think would be a nice consolation. If you can't get Trey Hendrickson, Khalil Mack on a 1-year deal for 12 to 15 million bucks, I think makes a lot of sense. He's still excellent against the run. He can rush the passer. Still a little streaky in terms of his pass rush production, but he still does win fairly consistently in one-on-one. So, yeah, I mean, I'm still all in on the Trey Hendrickson scenario if the money and the years are reasonable, but I think Khalil Mack would be my backup plan to pair with a draft pick, because you do need to add a young defensive lineman, whether it's an edge or D-tack, to start developing, and there's a lot of guys in this draft you can do that with on day 1 and on day 2. Okay, pick a contract. What do you like better? Hendrickson, 1 year, $21 million, 17 guaranteed, or Khalil Mack, 1 year, $14 million, fully guaranteed? I would still lean Hendrickson overall, but Khalil Mack's still a very good player, and I think he would help this team a lot. It'd be cool to see him back in a Bears uniform. I heard rumblings last year that had he and the Chargers not worked out that deal right before free agency, that there would have been mutual interest with the Bears. So we'll see what happens this year. We'll see if the Chargers prioritize him. Oweh is a Charger as well. You would think they probably pick one of those guys and let the other one go. And who knows, maybe Mack hangs it up. But I think there's enough in the tank there to keep it going. So TH for the Hendrickson deal or KM for the Khalil Mack deal. Okay, real quick, some other edge projections from PFF. Boye Mafe, 3 year, $49 million. I think 30 guaranteed there. Joey Bosa, 1 year, $11 million. Actually has been fairly healthy the last couple of years. So, he's kind of him and like Jadeveon Clowney are, plan B, plan C type of options who are still productive players. Draymond Jones, I don't think is a scheme fit. 2 year, $20 million. He's kind of an edge, D-tack tweener, which I think plays better in a 3-4. And then Arnold Ebiketie, 2 year, $16 million. Pretty good for the Falcons this year, part of that pass rush. He's more of a rotation player, like a number 3 type. So, if some of these bigger names just get priced out and you want to bring in Ebiketie and draft a guy early, that could be another avenue to beef up the edge position as well. All right, there you have it. Trey Hendrickson, 1 year, $21 million. I'm still finding it a little tough to believe. I think he's going to be closer to the $25 million per year, which I'm cool with as long as the guaranteeds aren't, too crazy on a multi-year deal. We'll see how it all plays out. We'll continue to monitor the situation with him and the Bears as a whole. Hit that subscribe button again. We will be live this afternoon after not going live yesterday, 4 o'clock Central Time, so turn on those notifications. We'll see you then. Bear down.